Reto Gurtner, thank you very much for this invitation to this interview and also the invitation to this wonderful rock resort here in Laax. You made a very successful career in travel, tourism and leisure industries. Could you tell us which have been the most important steps of your career so far?
Well, it was actually, I just was dropped in actually because my background is my family background is we are in a meat processing business doing air-dried beef. This is my brother running the company. At the same time, my father started also with the ski area. So, and I had more or less this opportunity that was always, I was looking a little bit for, because I think tourism travel business is very, very interesting. Why? Because you have to do with a lot of stakeholders. One part you have to do with clients, how you're going to satisfy your clients, because this is always a challenge. So you need good products, you need good service, you need good image. This is one part, but you also have to do with the local authority, you have to do with the federal authority, you have to do with a lot of technical stuff like the lifts, how you're going to innovate there, and you also have to do with the landowners. So you have a lot of stock owners, stakeholders, sorry, a lot of stakeholders, and how you're going to try to match that. You know, every stakeholder has a different vision or has a different idea about to do it. And so this is a great challenge, and I always was looking a little bit for and try to do the best, you know, in an area actually that you don't have a lot of opportunities than doing tourism.
The Weisse Arena Group is a very successful company in tourism, one of the biggest tourism companies in Switzerland. It's one of the biggest ski regions worldwide. What is the vision of this company, and what would you consider as its main goals, development goals?
Okay, analyzing, you know, the worldwide ski business and knowing that it's quite a small community actually. It's only, we're speaking about 50, 60 million skiers and snowboarders. How you can create growth in an industry that's very complicated, you know. The access to become a skier or snowboarder is very complicated. You only have done it when your parents have done it, when you went with your family to a ski resort. And otherwise it's really hard, because you need equipment, you need how to do it, you need travel to there, all that. That makes it very complicated. So this is a great challenge, and this is our big advantage. But coming back, you know, what we started, and this is still very unique with the Weisse Arena, is that we are a completely integrated company. We are not just a lift company. We started as a lift company, but we have also the hotels. We also have, you know, like here the Rocks Resort is one part, you know. We have all the mountain restaurants, we have the ski school, snowboard school, rental shops, and even a shuttle that we organize from the airport Zurich to Laax. So this integrated model gives us a lot of opportunities, or gives a lot of advantages compared to my competitors, like here in the area when you go to St. Moritz, Davos, etc. This is one way to create a successful company, because we have some restrictions also. When you see in Switzerland, it's very easy to build a lot of secondary homes, and this is our big challenge, because secondary homes, they're only used normally in average 32 days a year. And so as a business, it's very hard to make a business out of only 32 days a year. So that's why we have to create, you know, if we want to grow, we have to create the bed base actually.
So the vision is mainly to have this integrated customer experience and also a long-term sustainable growth. Leisure industry sometimes is considered to be the industry where you can realize, where you can also observe trends very early. What do you consider as the most important demand trends in the market?
Okay, ski business is compared, to our main markets that we still have in Switzerland. Everybody more or less everybody Swiss can ski or snowboard. This was once upon a time, and now how you're gonna create an image that skiing and snowboarding is cool. So it's much cooler, for example, when you are in Los Angeles, in the movie industry, everybody says, yo, skiing is much cooler than golfing, for example. So it's very important that for the young generation, for the teenagers, when they love it, they practice this sport, then afterwards they're gonna stay in the sport very long. We have some researches that for 75% of the skiers worldwide, or no, of the German skiers, it's a research that has been done in Germany, 75% of the skiers learned it before the age of 14. And with the snowboarders and free skiers is 80%. So this is a younger generation. That means then those who learned it or learn skiing after 20, you only have about 10% retention. So what that means, everybody can calculate. So we have to be very attractive, for the young generation to learn to ride, learn to ski. Then the chance is we have a great chance, and afterwards that they're gonna stuck to the sport, that they love it, because then they have an ability that's better than the average. How you're going to do that now is the most important thing. So you have to create the products and to understand how is the desire, how is the need of those different groups. When I'm speaking from different groups, we're speaking about strategic positioning, strategic groups, like we call it strategisches Geschäftsfeld 1. That means strategic
Market segments.
Market segment is family with small kids, plus minus up to 10, 12. They have a completely different need than a family, the group 2, with teenagers. And then the third group is actually, families that the kids are gone, or double income, no kids, or empty nester, or however we call them. Understanding the need of a family with small kids, what do we have to provide them that the kids are tired in the evening, come back with a smiley, and next time say, hey, daddy, mommy, I want to go back to Amisabi, for example. Understanding this, so we are doing all the investment, they have to fit to these groups. Then we're going to do it. If it doesn't fit to that group, we leave it. So also in strategic field 1, 2, and 3. Mainly our power is, or we have a good name in the strategic field 2. This is for the teenagers, so they want to jump, they love the freestyle part, they love the parks, it's not the speed anymore. So it's much more attractive if you can make a salto, if you can make a tail grab or whatever it is. You have these obstacles on the slope. It's coming a little bit also from the computer games. It's coming a little bit also from skateboarding, because when I started skateboarding, you just run down, you had downhill, but now everybody just wants to have rails, wants to have, the parks, wants to have all that. And this is the culture that we try also to create a little bit on the snow. And this is our power, and therefore we want to be, for skiers, snowboarders, and freestylers, we want to be number 1 in Europe, and we're going to do everything to be ahead of our competitors in this field. Still, we have some other products also, like cross-country skiing or ice skating and all that, but there we never have the capacity to become number one, because there we have better names like Davos or St. Moritz, because they are on a higher level with the resort, so they have better qualities. So never go into a product that you have never the chance to be number one, because then you always are a copy or second or third. You have to have a better price, or you never have the same image like the number one. So we want to be number one. We want to stay number one in Europe about the freestyle generation. Those are the kids of the skiers. So we still cater also the skiers, no question about that. But still we have nearly 40 or 50% of, no 40 to 40, sorry, again, it's 60%, 65% of our clients are still regular skiers. But their kids, when you look just the age, for the teenage, so it's about 60-70% of them are snowboarders or pre-skiers.
So obviously quite a clear and focused positioning strategy, a very modern style of ski area. Now, can you tell us a little bit about how you use social media for acquisition and retention of customers?
It has more and more, it has a very strong part of it, mainly, you know, with the teenage generation or with the youth generation. When I'm going back, you know, we started the internet with Laax.com. My first provider, I had it in New York because I couldn't find a provider in Switzerland. At that time, you know, all the other hoteliers said, "Oh, come on, our clients don't need that." And this is only half a generation now, when you think back, you know. And by that, we had the first internet cafe here before the city of London had one. And it was extremely expensive, you know, the wire, we had the internet connection we needed at that time, you know, it was so expensive. It's 15 or 18 years ago, we paid for 128 kilo line, 43,000 Swiss francs. I mean, this was crazy. But it gave an image to the young generation. It was a part. So if you have to understand the community, the freestyle community, so then providing with the best products, providing with the best service, but providing with the right products. And not only the best, you have to have the right product. You have to have the right music. So with that, you know, you will have the community then is not self-catering, but is also then acquiring their friends. Everybody, oh, come up, it's a cool place, whatever it is. So this is very, very important, because with that, and then social media comes into the game. We started very early also on Facebook, you know, all Twitters or whatever it is. It's very important. And when you see now, and mainly in the park, all the kids, they have their handies or they have their cams, their helmet cams. So they put all those images on YouTube or Facebook, whatever it is. So this has an enormous value, actually. We always had been very open. So we have one person in my company since about 3 years. It's just organizing all that, you know, because you have also, it's another question, you cannot, you know, Facebook you cannot, or all those social medias, you cannot guide them. But you have to be very direct and very clear, you know. If you have a complaint, something like that, you have to react immediately. And you have to understand how it works, you know. And then it is a great opportunity. It's also a great opportunity for small resorts that who doesn't have the budget, you know, for the marketing budget or whatever it is. When they have a good product, it's a great chance also for them.
But they have to specialize.
You have to have a profile for something. It's not only the question in a company, you know, to be different. Everybody wants to be different than his competitor, or he claims to be. But actually, you know, how is the appreciation, you know? How is the client seeing you? So it's very important not only to be different, but you have to have a profile for something. We are number one for freestylers and not for cross-country skiers. And then by the time, and with that you also need the right staff who loves to do that, who has the competence for it, who has the passion for it. And if a company is able to do that, then every company will have success by that, because it's the passion. And then you also have a competitive advantage to the other ones, because this is the learning process is the most important thing at the beginning. You cannot say, okay, I just start making half pipe. Everybody tried to do it, but it's very, very few who really succeeded, because you have to shape it, you have to invest exactly like in a slope, you have to prepare the park every day. I mean, just my park crew here in Laax, we have 700% hired people who are just in charge of the park. And that's also an economical important figure. So it only works if you also have the critical mass. So it fits together, and this is lesson number 1 at the University St. Gallen.
Now, the Weisse Arena Group is also very famous for its innovations. You just opened last season the fastest chairlift in Switzerland with chairs designed by Porsche. Rocks Resort is a new form of holiday apartments, self-catered holiday apartments. You also mentioned the Freestyle Park. How do you develop these innovations? How do these innovations come up?
Well, first you have to understand where your clients come from. And this is mainly urban areas, because now we have 50%, nearly 50% that lives in urban areas. So they want to have if you're going to go to the mountains, you don't want to see exactly the same that you have seen in your normal environment. But you still want to have the simplicity and the ease and the quality. You don't want to miss that. On the other hand, you have to analyze your competitors. You have to analyze the travel industry in general, because it's not only within the ski resorts, because we have more than 4,500 ski resorts worldwide. They're all very tiny. So this is just a commodity product. How are you going to change, to just getting out of a commodity product? So you have to specialize. You have to have a profile. Understanding that is also understanding where is the future going in that business, because until now you had everybody, the ski resorts had the real big boom in the 70s, because when people from the cities wanted to go in wintertime having a holiday or something like that, or wanted to have sunshine, the only opportunity they had going to the mountain, or otherwise going to an airplane and flying out, But this was pretty expensive. Now it changed dramatically. I mean, when you compare the fares of the airline industry within the last 20 years, so flying is, I think it's about 20 times cheaper compared to about 20 years ago. So everybody can afford that. So it changed it. So that means that our main markets that we have here in Switzerland and Germany, they have much more variety and choice of doing winter holidays, because winter holidays doesn't mean automatically going to the snow. Winter holidays also can be, flying down to the Caribbean, or flying down to some ocean destinations, summer destinations. So knowing that our market is eroding because he has much more choice. On the other hand, we know that the airline business in wintertime doesn't has the capacity, so why don't bringing in other countries at the same time? So we need to be prepared for an international business much more than before. But there we have another challenge. I mean, all those countries, the emerging markets, they have no clue about skiing. So how to learn to ride, learn to ski is our big challenge. And this is really a pain to learn that if you don't have the group. So this integration of our company makes a big advantage, because we can provide them with the equipment, we can provide them with the pros, the snowboard pro or the ski pro or the teacher. We can provide them with the clothes so he can try this sport, this new sport for him, something completely new, without spending too much money, without the need that he has to buy all the equipment. And when he loves it, he still can do it afterwards. So the entrance, the barriers of entering, skiing is very, very high, especially for the new generation that comes up that never had the opportunity to do that. So this is one part. Secondly, how you're going to make the whole communication. And this is coming, from, we know that 80 million worldwide are skateboarders. So skateboarding was also, when I was a student, it was very high, and then afterwards it came down, it came back extremely. But it's a completely different profile now, the skateboarder from today than from those days. Those days it was just downhill, was just a little bit riding like that. But now it's much more, has to do much more with freestyle. They want to have rails, to grind. They want to jump and whatever it is. And this is also what changes the skiers. So you have this community. You have the community from the skateboarders and from the surfers. We want to bring them also in wintertime. This is one part. And then you need, the correct hotel type, not the classical hotel type. It was the Riders Palace we created about 10 years ago. It was specially made, for the young generation. It's a music hotel much more because they don't want just to ride. They also need the socializing part. And the socializing part is the music part, because music is international, but the right music. You cannot just take yodel, so you're gonna they're gonna take. So you have to understand the need and what this community likes. And to understand that, you also need that the staff that it's working in my company, the whole team, has the same age and the same desire as your clients. So, because I can't do that anymore, at my age. I have a different choice of music probably. I don't know if everybody knows or likes my style of music. So you have to understand that, and then it works.
So it's consequent analyzing of the markets, of the new demand trends, and has to be a fit also with the service staff, with the customer. Now, one of the challenges in the tourism industry is the very volatile demand structure. How do you cope with that, and what does pricing play a role in this challenge? You have two choices. Either you make a very luxury product and you say, okay, this is the price, I don't go under that. You can live with that. There are some hotels that are working like that, that I know, like Aman Resort or GHM hotels. They say, okay, the prices the whole year the same, and they can live with 35% of occupancy. Here in a ski resort is like in the airline business. I mean, a ski resort costs you exactly the same if you have a lot of people on the mountain or just a few. Why? Because we need, by regulation, you need, the lift operator. You cannot say, when I'm transporting now 1,000 people and tomorrow maybe 10,000, I cannot say, okay, it's just one operator. I need the operators by regulation, number one. Number two, I have to groom every night the slopes. Every night I have to groom the slopes. If I have 10,000 people on the mountain or 20,000 people or 3,000 people. So I have a fixed cost structure like the airlines. Okay, so on that I have to see earning money. You cannot earn money in those days that you have the resort is full, like Christmas, New Year. You can do maybe a little bit more on pricing, but also this has a limit, But the most money you always earn, in a low season, if you are able to fill the resort in a low season, is every Swiss franc that adds is more or less cash flow.
So understanding that, we also have a dynamic pricing or yield management. And then you have to understand which market can come to ski in January. You cannot go with a Swiss family that the kids go to school. It's impossible. You can make marketing as much as you like. They cannot come during this time, only during the ski holiday time or on weekends. But there are markets around the world that the profile of holidays are completely different. You know that the Asian market is the main travel season is during the monsoon time, and this is April, May, June, because it's then the Indians, for example. The Chinese is in October, November, more or less. And then you have the Scandinavian countries. In Scandinavian countries, you know, in some Scandinavian countries, that they can take out their kids from school whenever they like. They have the right to take them out 2 weeks without being having some consequence. So understanding that, go to those markets in January, or go to the market that have no kids. So understanding that, you know, we try to fill up. But our main problem is actually we don't have enough bed base. Our bed base is too small. We have too much cold beds, actually apartments, you know, that the owners use only. And so we have to create, if we want to grow, we have to create more beds. In one part, like the Rocks Resort, this is the strategy we're going to go on. And secondly, also those big cities our main market comes out of the Zurich area. So making a good offer also to those that they can come for one day. Because more and more also families are deciding, instead of coming up here, you know, because Switzerland is getting smaller and smaller and smaller with the mobility, because we have great roads, we have a great a transport infrastructure, whatever it is. So in that case, they say, okay, let's go 1-2 days out there, 1 day to the other one. And how are you going to make a good offer with that? That's then also the yield management that I've done, or the new product we launched last year is with Laax Plus. Laax Plus is on the internet exactly like the airlines. You can book your ticket in advance to a highly interesting price, and then it's also a dynamic pricing, you know. The more clients you have, the more the price will raise. It's exactly like in the airline business and in the big hotel chains actually also.
At the end of every good marketing process, there is also marketing controlling. Which are the most important marketing control metrics which you use here at Weisse Arena?
I mean, the more you do with the internet, the more you do with the web-based like CRM or call center. When we make a marketing strategy, we just have immediate response, you know, on the call center or on the internet booking, because this is very easy. Relatively easy, so we can see the response immediately. Other things, you know, when you make more generic marketing, is hard to decide. But it is also very important, you know, because it gives you also kind of image for your product, and image gives a brand value. And ski resorts don't have really brand values, with very few exceptions. So how are we going to create that Laax is standing for freestyle, skiing, snowboarding and freestyle? We want to be the best there. So we need those big events like the Burton European Open. For every year we're going to do that. And I'm convinced that at the end, you know, you have a lot of media coverage by that. But just with having media coverage is not a guarantee that it's booking here. All those big events, it has. So others say that with those big events, you receive a credibility for this community. When the world best snowboarders, Olympic winners, etc., they're every year in Laax, so they have to understand what that means freestyling, so I have a competence on that. So it gives a competence to the brand, it gives a competence to the destination. This is one part that, but you cannot really measure. But the feedback is, measuring is also benchmarking, you know, with all the other resorts, what I'm doing here in our area with somewhere it's Davos and so, and we are gaining still every year gaining market share. So this is also a kind that we are not doing so bad. And this is, I do believe, is thanks to the integration of the Weisse Arena Group, that we have all integrated, because we can act and react much faster than everybody else, because they have not the figures at the right moment. I see it on the call center, how is the reservation for the winter, which week is weak, so we can plan a marketing campaign or a selling campaign or whatever it is, trying to optimize that, and this is one part. But you never know, in every marketing budget is still like that, you know, is this the first 50% who has the influence, or the second 50%, you don't know that. But with the time you can see, you know, with monitoring all those figures all the time, you can say, yeah, but I don't know if it also would work if I would invest only 50% of the marketing budget. That's, I cannot tell. I only can tell it goes in the right direction.
Rito Gurtner, thank you very much for this interview, and all the best for the Weisse Arena Group in future.